From the News Channel 5 network, this is SportsLine.
Hey there, SportsLine on your television. Steve Lehman here with you. Glad you are here with us on this Monday night on News Channel 5. Plus, I think we have a cool show lined up for you tonight. Former Vanderbilt superstar, old SEC Player of the Year, Shan is with us. We're going to talk some Commodores hoops. Bryce Drew, the new coach over there on West End. What's Shane think about that, where this program is headed? Probably talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs as well. Huge series starting in Golden State later tonight. Maybe get his take on that as well. And more importantly, we're going to talk about a huge event he's putting on for the YWCA and really the community at large next week called Men Nashville. We want to raise awareness to it, talk about the mission, and also let you know how you can get involved as well. Our phone lines will be open tonight, 737-7767. If you'd like to join in on the conversation on any of those topics, I'm sure Shane would be happy to entertain that. So let's welcome into the program now Shane Foster. Shane, great to see you again. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk first off about the event. Let's get some of that out there, and we'll revisit it a little bit throughout the program as well. Men Nashville, the big event comes up a week from Thursday, May 26, 9 a.m. at Bridgestone Arena. Tell us more.
Well, we're just excited to have an opportunity to really just celebrate how much success we've had over the last year. We're really, really excited about our major partnerships that we have with the Nashville Predators, with Bank of America, and so many others. We're doing so many amazing things in our city with Metro Nashville Public Schools, and we just want to celebrate the work that over 150 coaches in this city have been doing to really change the culture that supports violence against women and girls. And so as we look to make Nashville the safest city in the nation, this is an opportunity for the community to come out to hear about what we've done, what we've done in the past, as well as the direction that we're getting ready to go to in 2017.
We unfortunately, as a news entity, hear a lot about the stories in the police blotter and other things of the violence of men against women in this country and in our region right here in Middle Tennessee. How big is this problem, Shane?
It's huge. When you think about the fact that the state of Tennessee ranks 6th in the country for men killing women, that's a huge problem. And when you think about the fact that 1 out of every 4 women experience domestic violence, 1 out of every 5 on college campuses experience sexual assault and rape. And it would be different if I were talking about strangers, people we never come into contact with. But because this is an issue that is literally the most underreported crime in the world, this is something that affects our co-workers. It affects our children. It affects our family members. It affects our next door neighbors. And so this is something that men have to become responsible for getting involved in and joining women in this initiative to end violence against women and girls, because it really does affect all of us.
Yes, Shane. So how do we go about fighting?
So the biggest thing is, like I said before, changing this culture that supports violence. So when I talk about that culture, I'm talking about the certain things that guys say, like you throw like a girl or doing girl push-ups or something along those lines. That's language that we need to take away. We need to stop that, because at the end of the day, that's not a compliment to women. It's an insult. And so we need to be more conscious of the way that we talk about women and girls, not only just in the presence of other women, but in the presence of other men. Because one of the things that we talk about as I go around Nashville and speak at universities, speak to different athletes and coaches, is that it's on the shoulders of those guys that the 15% of bad men who perpetuate this violence, it's on those shoulders that they stand. They walk around and they, quote unquote, get away with that kind of bad behavior because they hear other guys that will say things like, you know, stop being a bee, or stop doing this like a girl, or, you know, those types of things. And they think it's okay because of all the support. And not only just that, when you think about what happened with Ray Rice and how many people, you know, made different comments around, oh, you know, it wasn't that bad, or that really didn't happen, or, you know, those kinds of things. When you think about the victims of domestic violence that you don't know about, and when they hear other men who are in support of people like Ray Rice, then to them it's like, I don't have an outlet. I don't have anybody that's going to believe me. So that's how this issue becomes the most underreported crime in the world.
How much do you think the culture in locker rooms, whether it be, you know, junior highs, high schools to college and professional where you played, how much do you think that, I guess, guy culture plays into this?
Well, one of the things that we talk about all the time is that You know, there's this bro culture that no matter what, you protect your boys, you protect, you know, your teammates and your family, so to speak. And even to the extent that you will hide the bad behavior of your friend or of your teammate. You know, you'll see them saying things that are inappropriately to women and girls, or you'll see them doing things that they have no business doing, and you won't say anything about it. We won't call it out. And it's to that end that we need good men, good guys to step up and start calling that out, to unsilence the violence. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, it affects everybody. I can't tell you how many men that we've had conversations with that'll come in and talk about how they experienced domestic violence in their household, how they saw it happening next door, or they saw it happening in their family. And to be able to do something about that before the violence happens is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get good men in this city of Nashville to step up and say, we're not taking this anymore. This kind of violence is going to stop, and it's going to stop now.
You talk about the men out there who sometimes point to other men and how they've acted as almost a reason, as terrible of an excuse as it is, for their own behavior. How nice it is, I look at the guest list of people who will be speaking and helping at the event coming up next week. You got Dana Ford, the basketball coach at TSU. Sean Henry of the Nashville Predators is going to be there. Tony Majors from Nashville Public Schools. Derek Mason, the football coach at Vanderbilt. David Williams, the athletic director. How nice is it to have guys like that, certainly role models in athletic positions, as we talk about, to come out and lend their support, lend their voice to this cause?
It's incredibly important, and it's critical to what we're trying to do as we look at getting Nashville to take this initiative and to end violence against women and girls as a city. And when you have people of that stature, people, you know, like Dana Ford, who went out and literally became the coach of the year in the OVC conference and did a tremendous job. But one of the things that he does on his team is he tells his players, if you abuse in any way, shape, or form, you abuse women and girls on social media, through text messages, whatever it is, and I find out about it, you lose your scholarship. When you have guys that are holding other men and boys accountable, and not just the holding accountable, but also taking the initiative to teach them healthy masculinity. I myself have seen how David Williams on a college campus is responsible for so many athletes, but he's constantly bringing young boys into his office, young men into his office, and talking to them about life lessons, how to be a good man, what it means to be a Vanderbilt man. It makes a huge difference when you have people that have, you know, gotten a certain level of success that will come back and say, this is what it means to be a man. Because unfortunately, when you look at TV, when you look at the news, when you look at what's happening in when people are driving down the street in terms of advertisements, you hear a lot that's objectifying women and girls. But nobody stopped to tell them, this is what you need to do. This is how you become a good man who values and respects women. This is how you become a good father. This is how you become a good husband. This is not just how you get a girl, but this is how you keep a girl. And marriage is the long-term goal. And those kinds of things, those are the messages that the men who are on participating in this event, that's the message that they're giving.
Well, all of us have a mother. A lot of us have sisters, best friends, things like that. And you mentioned hopefully one day you find a wife and you have a family. So these are important goals for all men out there, regardless of your situation at the time.
Absolutely. And you know, I tell this all the time, a personal testimony of mine. So one of the reasons that I'm involved in this work is that the three most important women in my entire life, my wife, my mother, my grandmother, all have been in domestic violence relationships in the past. They've been in abusive relationships in the past. So literally, this is really affecting men, and it's affecting women. This is something that, it doesn't matter your social status, it doesn't matter how much money you make or what career you're in at the time. This affects you. And we as men have to do our part of coming to the table and being a part of it. For so long, women have been fighting this issue alone, so to speak. And so now is an opportunity for men to step up before we get that phone call that something happened, before, you know, our daughter comes home and tells us about what happened when she was walking down the street, before our best friend talks about what happened to them on a college campus. We can stand up and say, we're going to change this before the violence occurs.
Shane Foster is our guest tonight. He's with Men Nashville. He's the director of men at the YWCA here in Nashville. The huge event coming up again next Thursday, May 26, 9 a.m. until noon at Bridgestone Arena. You can register at mennashville.com. We will continue this discussion. It is a very important one. We'll also talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs and what's going on with Vanderbilt basketball. Shane, obviously a huge part of the success and history of the Commodores basketball program. You can get in on the action tonight, 737-7767, as we have discussion on all of these topics. We would love to hear from you tonight here on SportsLine. Time for our first break. We'll be back with more SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus right after this.